what are some of the things you see adults wasting their money on?
A lot of the time I see adults who have kids just like spending all their money on toys for their kids just so that they don't like cry and throw a tantrum. And it's like, I do.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not great parenting, is it?
Welcome to the Future of Education podcast, hosted by Mackenzie Price. Mackenzie is the founder of a revolutionary new school model that's disrupting education through AI. Join us as we discuss the latest in education innovation.
Because you're able to do your academics only in the morning, that leaves a lot of time in the afternoon. And tell me about what things you do in the afternoon at school.
We have these things called workshops, which are basically things that like the guides do. So they associate like a lot of fun activities with like a life skill. Mm-hmm. So it's usually like every day there's like some like fun activities that help like build up to a life skill like public speaking or like financial literacy. And then there's usually like one big test to pass at the end of the session.
Okay, what's an example of one of your favorite workshops?
This session and last session, we had this workshop called Stories Beyond the Wild.
Stories Beyond the Wild?
Yeah, so It's a public speaking workshop. So basically, the test to pass is we're going to have to deliver like a speech like about an experience in our life in front of like a big crowd, like sort of like a TED Talk, but like not a TED Talk.
Why is public speaking important?
Because I think a lot in the future, if you're like doing, for example, like a business meeting, public speaking helps you build like confidence up and like just makes you more comfortable. And then it also makes you like better at memorizing things. Because for us, we have to like memorize our speech. Like we can't have like a script.
Right.
With us.
Yeah. Do you like public speaking?
I do, but I have big stage fright. But I think I've gotten better at it this year.
What tips have you learned to get over your stage fright?
Look at people's foreheads.
Look at people's foreheads. I'm looking at your forehead right now.
Does it look like I'm looking at you?
It looks like you're looking directly into my eyes, but you're not. Are you looking at my forehead?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this is a good tip. I like that tip. One of the other things that I'm always so impressed about when I talk to you is that you are a young entrepreneur. Tell me about your business.
So ever since I was 3, I've always just like liked art. And so when I was 5, I kind of like had the idea. I was like, I want to have an art business when I'm older. So like in the past few years,
So when you were 5 years old, you were planning your art business for when you were older.
That's when I like started. I was like, I know what I want to do. Like when I'm older. Like,
what a gift. That's so cool that at age 5 you were inspired. You said, I'm going to be an art business owner. Okay, yeah. Tell me what happened.
Yeah. So in the past few years, I've been like kind of building up. So I've done like some small like sales at like a maker's market. I'm actually doing one next week.
What do you create?
A lot of different types of art. Right now, I'm kind of in like a jewelry mode, but I also like to like paint and like knit and crochet.
Okay, so you're kind of an artist of many different talents. That's fantastic. What's your public speaking going to be about?
It was actually about a time when I invented a new art method. So the main message in my story was like looking at things from a different angle. So I was watching like this YouTube video, and so like I saw something that I really wanted to try.
Okay.
And I made it, but I realized that it was like kind of it wasn't what I thought it would be. Like,
what was it? What did you go about trying to make, and what did it turn into?
It was like this like flower painting with like these like splatters in the background. But it did not really look like that. But I had like the idea to like use a new material, and so like I looked at it from a different angle, and then that was the day I invented new art method.
And that's an incredible life skill to be able to look at something from a different perspective.
Yes.
And you never know what kind of bright ideas you'll get, right?
Actually, we had this gala at our school, and so one of the guides asked me to donate a couple of art pieces.
So this gala that you planned, it was 3rd graders through 8th graders, and you were raising money for Ukrainian refugee students. And tell me what you did at this gala and how you contributed.
So we had, each level had a workshop. So about half of the class would do some type of thing associated with that. So we basically kind of like split up what we were going to do between the 3 levels. So L1, which was what I was in last year, we focused on the money and set like a budget.
Okay.
L2 kind of like got all the things that we needed and kind of like set it up. And then L3 focused on advertising.
On advertising.
Yes.
Wow. So the group of students, you guys did an amazing job at that gala. I had so much fun at that gala. Yeah. And you sold art that you had created at the gala. And how much did those pieces go for?
One of my pieces sold, it was like a little bit of a bigger piece. It sold for $120.
Wow.
And then my other one, which is a little smaller, sold for $115.
Incredible. That's fantastic. And that money that you raised went to Ukrainian refugee students.
Yes.
That's so cool. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about your business.
So far, I'm kind of more focusing on like advertising while also putting up some products. So I recently ordered some business cards. And so I'm like passing them out with and they have like my Etsy shop name and link on them. So I'm hoping that will get a little bit of advertising in. And I'm also hoping to create like a Pinterest account so I can also advertise there.
Like, what are some of the challenges that you've had to figure out as part of building your business?
Yeah, so a lot of it has to do with the financial stuff. So like pricing things, because you don't want to make it like too expensive where it's just like people, they're like, I don't want to buy it. Right. But you also don't want to make it too cheap where you like make like not that much profit.
Right.
And also shipping costs a lot. So, but you don't want to like have to, it costs like $3 or something, but you don't want to have to like charge your buyers too much because then it's like basically they have to buy the amount of 2 bracelets if they're only getting one just because of like shipping.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, if you're selling a bracelet for $3 and it costs $3 to ship, that doesn't really make great sense. So you've had to figure out how to bundle your products better, right? So is your school teaching you all this?
They're definitely helping me with a lot of it, like a lot of the financial stuff, like saving aside some money for emergency funds, savings accounts, fixed cost, variable cost. We actually had a workshop last session where they taught us all about that stuff and like good ways to price things. So I think that really helped me. If I was in a traditional school, I don't think that I would be able to be doing this type of thing. And even if I was, I'll bet I probably wouldn't have gotten like as far as I am right now.
No kidding. So why is it important to learn about saving money?
It's for the future, because if you're like, I don't know, 35 years old and you have to pay your rent, but you just spend all your money on
what?
Yeah, if you spend all your money on like Starbucks.
That's not good, right?
If you spend all your money on Starbucks, then you're not going to have enough left over to pay your rent and buy your food so that you can like live under a roof with food and water. Yeah.
Nadine, it is so much fun to get to talk to you. I love when we get to hang out at school and I get to hear about your business. I'm very excited to support your Etsy business, and I will make sure to send a link out to our subscribers so that if they want to support you in this business, one of the cool things is, as you said earlier, is that 75% of the profit that you make goes straight into savings. So that is fantastic. Thank you for joining me here on Future of Education.
Yeah, thank you.
Actually, I have one last question. What do you think is the future of education?
Alpha.
I love it. That's great. All right. Well, that wraps up this episode of Future of Education. Thanks for joining me today. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit it, and I'll be back in your feed tomorrow. And you can always reach out on Instagram or YouTube, Future of Education. Send me a DM. Let me know what you think. That's all for today. But until next time, just remember, kids are limitless, and it's our job to provide an environment that unlocks that potential.
Thanks for listening to Mackenzie Price and the Future of Education podcast. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, now is the time to do it so you can stay up to date on all our episodes. You can connect with Mackenzie on social media and be part of our daily conversation over on Instagram at futureof_education. For more info about the show and our guests, you can always visit futureofeducationpod.com. Lastly, if you're loving what you're learning, please leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll be back in your feed soon. But until then, remember, kids are limitless, and it's our job to unlock their potential.